So my name is Nick Brown. I'm president of the Brandon University Students' Union. I'm also the Local 37 rep for the Canadian Federation of Students. But this day of action is put on by them, and we're part of them. Part of 650,000 students across this country. Like I said earlier, there are 31 cities and 54 campuses participating in this day. We're telling the government, we're telling the universities that we want free education now. We want no more student loans. We want Indigenous credit course requirements. We want increased post-secondary funding. We want mandatory sexual assault policies. So, as we free food, we got a barbecue happening. Sean's over there. Give a wave, Sean. So you can start getting hot dogs as soon as they're ready. But my first thing is I'm going to call Jill Vander Heyden, our Vice President Internal, and she's going to talk about mandatory attendance policies.
Yeah. Hello, Brandon University students. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the mandatory attendance policy. So right now, currently on campus, we have 5 faculties. 3 of them have mandatory attendance: health studies, music, and education, where students are removed from the registration of their classes if they miss too many classes. You're withdrawn. You're out. Shame! Shame! This is a human rights issue. Students should not be discriminated against on the grounds of ancestry, nationality or national origin, ethnic background or origin, religion, creed, or religious belief, religious association or religious activity, age, sex, including sex-determined characteristics like a pregnancy, gender identity, sexual orientation, marital or family status, source of income, political belief, political association or political activity, as well as physical or mental disability and social disadvantage. This is directly off the Manitoba Human Rights website. These are the protected groups under human rights. So we have students that are in classes that are missing classes because they're a single parent and their babysitter backs out on them. They can't go get a doctor's note, and because they can't qualify that with actual substantial proof, that's one unexcused absence against them. That's a protected group. That's a family status. Woo! That can't be taken against us. Exactly. Woo! I'm going to go. Woo! What if you're a student with severe depression or MS, or you have some sort of other mental or physical disability, and you can't get out of bed that day? You're just struggling. You're supposed to force yourself to go get a doctor's note to qualify that you actually were sick and you have a reason to be away from class that day? Hell no! That is also protected under human rights. We need to be able to help our students. We want to be successful. We want to learn. We don't want to be kicked out of our classes because our kids are sick or we have depression or we're facing some sort of other protected group. This is not okay. So what we're calling on is we're calling on keeping the line in the academic calendar that says that attendance cannot be tied to final grades. We want to keep that. My ability to be a student has nothing to do with my ability to be able to sit in a chair. I can learn from home. Many people can't handle the big class sizes. 200 students, I know it's small compared to U of M, but our class sizes. There needs to be other ways for our students to be able to participate in classes. Give me marks for my participation. Give me pop quizzes. Give me one-page pieces of paper that says what did we discuss in class and hand it in. Don't grade me on my ability to sit in a chair. Grade me on my ability to learn. So that's one of our asks today on campus. No mandatory attendance. No mandatory attendance. No mandatory attendance.
Not exactly a smooth chant. Not the smoothest chant I've ever heard.
Next up, Mark Klepeek is our grad studies director at BUSU, and he's going to talk to you about international differential fees.
Hey guys, thanks for coming out today and supporting student rights.
Not supporting.
I want to talk about tuition, specifically the international tuition differential. Currently, it is 200% of normal tuition. So we have that started off. Okay? Currently, grad students don't have an international differential. That's good, but there has been talk of increasing it across the board. That it would attract more students because going here is more expensive. I don't even know where to start with that statement. It's more expensive, so more international students are going to want to come here. Okay, when international students come to Canada, they have to prove that they have enough money to stay here. And changing the international differential on top of increasing tuition for all Canadians puts us in a situation where if we had budgeted to come here specifically, like I did, we're now in a situation where we have to take on jobs to help pay for our tuition. We didn't plan for it. I came here to study. I came here to contribute. I want to do well here. The province keeps saying, we need nurses, we need teachers, we need engineers, we need scientists. But at the same time, the progressive conservative government's saying, well, we don't want to fund that. How does that work? You want all these skilled people, but you're not willing to help them out. This affects everybody. Okay? The people I've met in the prairies have been absolutely amazing since I've been here. It's the friendliest people I've ever met. I've lived in 4 countries on 2 continents. You guys are the greatest. Very friendly. But you guys, there's a difference between being friendly and being a pushover. And I don't think any of you are pushovers. You have to hold your ground. Administrations like governments are not in the habit of giving back rights, freedoms, and money once they have taken it from you. So you have to draw a line in the sand and say, no, we are not allowing this to happen. We're going to stand up and say, we want to contribute to Manitoba. We want to be here and learn and have an educated society, and we want it to be affordable for everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark. So, our next speaker was supposed to be Greg Monius. He's our Vice President External at Busu. But he's been called away today to talk about Indigenous course requirements in Winnipeg at a conference today. So I'm going to call Jill back up, my Vice President Internal. She's going to talk about Indigenous course requirements and how they can incorporate into BU.
So Brandon University stands on the ground, and we've already seen it before. They always say that we were the first university in Western Canada to establish a Native Studies department way back 41 years ago in 1975. What have they done in the last 41 years? Nothing. It's the sound of all of you right now. Nothing. That's what they've done for us. As a Métis student here on this campus, this is a passionate issue for me. This is something that's very close to my heart, and we need to change. In December 2015, Brandon University signed on to the Indigenous Education Blueprint. And in June 2016, the Indigenous Education Committee was created by Senate. So the blueprint affirms the commitment of promoting and advancing Indigenous education while supporting the reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in Canada. So it took 7 months from the signing of that agreement to the creation of the Senate committee. And then it's been 4 months since the creation of that committee that any meetings have even happened. They haven't even met yet. Shame! We are 1 month away from the 1-year anniversary, and we haven't even had a meeting yet. Shame! The TRC, which is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, concluded their report in 2015 with 94 calls to action. These calls to action call upon everyday people, Canadian people and newcomers to Canada. They call on the careers of child welfare, people in education, people in language and culture, health workers, people in justice, people in media, people in museums and archive businesses, youth workers, people who work in sports industries as well as businesses and corporations. It calls upon Canadians, all Canadians, individual people. You can find things in the TRC that are individual to you, even if you have not been mentioned as one of the careers that is affected by the TRC report. We want to see that the Indigenous course requirement happen on our campus. We are standing up to say that we want the creation of this requirement, and we are not a PR trick. We are not an empty promise.
No.
We are here. We will be here. We want action. We want action now. We want to see plans in motion and movement on this promise. We are looking for a course requirement that is individual to each field of study, just like we have for research methods course in our declared major. We want to see an Indigenous course in every single faculty and business. So geology students, you'll learn about treaties and about the relationship that Indigenous people have with the land. Social workers will learn about treaties, residential schools, the 60s scoop. People in healthcare will learn about the relationship that Indigenous people have with plants and living things and the traditional medicines and ways of healing our people.
You mean the ways that kill people?
We are not asking to increase the number of classes needed to graduate. We are not asking for another course and so much more money from students. We want this to be included in the required list of courses that a student has to take. That's all. It can also double as humanities. We want to decolonize our campus, and we cannot begin healing without education, and we cannot educate without open hearts and open minds.